Wow, a lot of eBay sellers are feeling very upset right now. They're feeling a lot like this dude right here. This is a situation in which eBay is acting a lot like Lucy setting up that football for Charlie Brown, who in this instance represents us sellers. And Charlie Brown sees that football, looks so enticing to him, and he just wants to come down and give it a nice big kick. But then at the last possible moment, that football gets pulled out right from underneath him. And poor old Charlie Brown winds up landing flat on his face or right on his butt. And he's got to pick himself up and dust himself off and try to figure out what the heck just happened here. That is exactly what is going on right now with eBay's new standard envelope shipping program with trading cards. Now, if you don't sell trading cards, still pay attention to this because eBay has announced that they plan on expanding this program to other areas. Now, which ones we don't know yet. Could be postcards, it could be stickers, it could be certain types of jewelry. We'll have to wait and see. But for right now, it has to do with non-expensive trading cards. So that means trading cards that sell for up to $20, not including tax. And the advantage is that with this program, you're supposed to now be able to ship off these non-expensive trading cards for less than $1 with tracking, provided that the envelope weighs 3 ounces or less. So for 3 ounces, it would cost 91 cents. For 2 ounces, it costs 71 cents. And for 1 ounce, it only costs 51 cents. Sound too good to be true? Well, it is, because as it turns out, the tracking that they describe is not the tracking that you and I are all used to. And I want to show you what it says on eBay's screen where they describe this program. And you tell me in the comments section if you feel that the way they describe this is misleading. And remember, this was up in advance before the program came out. So let me share my screen and you take a look. So I'm going to actually move up a little bit just to show you that this is from the standard envelope part of the website. And as you can see here, they describe it's going to give you peace of mind. It's going to ship for less than $1. And you can see here it talks about integrated tracking. So that means the tracking is going to be integrated within eBay's website. Okay, great. It also says your shipment is always protected, which sounds like a guarantee. How do you use it? Well, number one, list your cards, select standard envelope. Number two, print your label from eBay labels, attach it, and send it via USPS. Tracking is automatically integrated. Okay, great. All that sounds like what we're used to. Now let's look at number three. Monitor your shipment. Track the progress of your shipment through my eBay or Seller Hub. Okay, so just to show you, okay, so what integrated tracking, like I said, is tracking integrated within eBay. We all have that when we print out our standard USPS label, like something that goes priority mail or something that goes first class or something that goes media mail. We get tracking with it. Here you go. Here's the tracking details. This is one of my items on eBay site, and you could see it shows the entire tracking history right there. You could go to the carrier site, like you could go to USPS's site and put in the information, but you don't have to because it's integrated within eBay. So given that context and given what we are all used to, isn't that what you would think that that is? Well, I did a little poll briefly. I put it up before I came on here, so I haven't had a lot of time for it to be up, but you can see right here, I have 95% of people responding to the poll who told me that's what they would have assumed, that that's what that type of tracking is. Now, the other 5%, I'm assuming, may be in the know based on what came out a couple days ago, and this is on Ina Steiner's blog, E-commerce Bites. And you could see, she says here, eBay standard envelope doesn't deliver on its promise. I'll link to it in the description section if you want to read the whole thing. But why doesn't it deliver on its promise? Well, let's go over to eBay's community page where a question was asked once this was put into practice to eBay. Could you explain how tracking works with the new eBay standard envelope and what seller protection is available for INR claims and INR chargeback claims? Remember the whole discussion we had recently, my video, I'll link to it up top, on $20 dispute fees if you lose a chargeback claim that a buyer put against you with their financial institution. Well, this is where this now could come into play. All right, let's go back over to this. Let's look at the answer. Tracking for eBay standard envelope is an agreement set up with several of our partners. It is not a USPS tracking number. Let me repeat that. It is not a USPS tracking number and is only trackable via the eBay website, via a buyer's purchase history or seller order history. Well, it's not a USPS tracking number. Does it say that anywhere here? No. Now, if you now know what they just said, now number 3 makes sense, right? That's why they're saying go to my eBay or go to Seller Hub. They're not telling you to go to USPS. That is why. So how exactly does this work? Well, what it is, it's basically like a barcode. And the tracking number that's on there is not like your traditional tracking number that you're used to. It's only going to be detected by eBay when it hits one of the main hubs. So this is not something that you will get an acceptance scan on. In fact, they literally say that now on eBay. While you shouldn't expect to see an acceptance scan from USPS or at the counter by the letter carrier. So the reason why it's not going to be able to be why you're not going to see an acceptance scan if you brought it to the post office or if the carrier picked it up is because they literally cannot scan it. It's not something that they're equipped to be able to scan because it's something completely different. And it's only going to go through one of the scans at the hub and detected by eBay if it was a machinable piece. So in other words, it has to automatically get fed to the machine. If the envelope is set up in some way that it's non-machinable, so it requires extra processing, it's not going to get scanned at all. And now both you and your buyer are going to have no idea where the package is. Now, it may very well wind up in the buyer's mailbox and there's no track record of it. So technically, if you have a dishonest buyer, this sets up a situation in which they technically could try to get a chargeback on you and claim, hey, this item was not received. And you dispute it saying, hey, wait a minute, I did everything I was supposed to do. I sent it off, blah, blah, blah. But, you can't find any evidence of this when you look in the system. If you go to USPS and you type in that number, it's going to tell you that it's not a number that they could detect. They might see it as a foreign number, like as an international number or something, but it's not going to come up with something that's going to give you trackable information. That is the big problem. Now, they claim that there are systems in place, which they do not describe, that ensure that as a seller, you get credit for shipping items on time and with a valid number. But again, how are they going to do that if it never gets scanned? If there's no acceptance scan, if it requires that it's machinable, it goes through the machine. What if it doesn't? There's no track record of it. I mean, you could look and see what other people have said on these forums. You see a lot of people who are commenting and saying, hey, listen, I sent a bunch of things off and they just were never scanned. No indication of it whatsoever. Now, they claim here, it says for INR, for item not received situations, eBay standard envelope, they say doesn't provide any special protections when it comes to INR or payment disputes. However, the standard protections will apply. If the item scans as attempted or actually delivered, we would find in your favor in the case of an INR. Since payment disputes are decided by the financial institution, we cannot promise that it will always be found in your favor, but we will always work to provide the institution with the evidence of deliverability. If you encounter an INR payment dispute for for an eBay standard envelope item, please consider contacting customer service so they could review your options with you. Wait a minute. Wait, hold on. Let's go back to how this was described. That doesn't sound like, wait, where is it here? It says your shipment is always protected, and it says that you're buying and selling with peace of mind. That information sounds completely different than what it's saying there on the main page. So you got to be really careful. Now, another thing that you have to be really careful of is you have to make sure that you are following their exact procedures with how to do this. So you have to make sure that the dimensions are no greater than 11.5 by 6.1.25. So you could see all the detail here, but I'll just give a couple examples. So you're not supposed to use anything that has a clasp on it, anything with strings, anything with buttons, or anything with a similar closure device. Guess what could happen if you wind up using something like that? Well, what could happen is that it gets upgraded to first class. So that's a problem. Same thing with anything plastic or anything that's a bubble mailer, whether it's a plastic bubble mailer or if it's one of the, paper-based bubble mailers. That could be another problem as well. That is not supported. Here's another issue, okay? So think of this. Let's say that you want to ship off this card right here, okay? Now, what a lot of people will do is they will put it in a top loader car holder. So it's like a firm plastic, and they will stick it in an envelope like this, and then they'll put a stamp on it. Let me actually get this screen off here so you could see me a little bit better here. Okay, so that's what they would do. They put in this more firm, okay, than just having a little piece of plastic. Well, you know what? Some people like myself will actually want to give it some extra protection, and they're going to want to take that card and they're going to want to do the cardboard sandwich. They're going to want to put it in here. Well, guess what? When you do that with this corrugated cardboard, this is now more than 1/4 of an inch. Well, according to eBay, if you put something in that's more than 1/4 of an inch, well, this isn't going to qualify now. So now you basically have to send your card out with less protection than many people would feel comfortable with when dealing with collectibles. So how is this really an advantage over using what most people were doing beforehand? Was they were just sending off their card with a postage stamp or with a couple of postage stamps. Now, they weren't getting tracking on it. That was the problem. That's why there were a lot of sellers like myself who were hesitant and didn't want to ship off those low value cards, because to get the tracking and to keep your top rated seller status, you had to basically use first class shipping, which is going to cost you, around $3 and, maybe a little bit more. It depends on the weight. So, but as you also probably know, trading card sales have exploded on eBay. I mean, it's absolutely insane. So guess what's happening with eBay when they see that they have all these people who are shipping out cards and they're just using postage stamps? What's happening? They're not buying first class mail. Okay, so they're not buying first class mail, which means they're not collecting money off that, because they collect a commission off of the total price, including shipping. That's been going on for about 10 years now. Okay, so well, guess what? If you get caught up with one of these little mistakes, like you send something off with a clasp and it gets upgraded to first class and you wind up getting charged for it, well, that money's going to come out of your managed payments. If you're on managed payments, and eBay is going to get a piece of that money. Okay, so that's another thing. Plus, they want to try to get more people who are basically spending a little bit more than a postage stamp, and that they're buying that postage through them. So even if they are just spending 51 cents, 71 cents, 91 cents, that's money that's, it adds up over time. It's coming out through them instead of your own postage stamp. Here's another thing. Let's say you fall behind on your top rated seller status because you have a lot of defects that are building up because, let's say customers are complaining, that sort of thing. Well, now if you don't have your top rated seller status, eBay is going to be able to charge you more because you're not going to get the discount you normally would get. So there's a whole bunch of problems, a whole bunch of can of worms that open up. Am I telling you 100% to not use it? I mean, I wouldn't go that far because you have to do what works for you. Like if you think it works for you, go ahead. I'm personally not going to be using it because I am not comfortable. If they actually had full true tracking for less than $1, like it sounded like, yes, I would jump all over that and want to use that. But you have to keep this in mind when they open this up to other programs because likely going to be the same type of restriction. And if you're running into problems, be aware that this is the reason why. If you start using the service and you get customers complaining, hey, where's my item? They start opening chargebacks against you. You dispute it. There's a $20 fee now you have to pay. This is all stuff you weren't planning for. Another thing, and I got someone who's a subscriber of this channel, member of the channel, messaged me that they listed some type of card under one of the categories in trading cards. It was non-sports, but it was within the trading cards, one of those categories, and it was called other merchandise, but it was within trading cards. eBay let that person select standard envelope. The seller worked that into the price, thought it was going to be 51 cents. When someone bought it, they were not allowed to ship it out that way, and now they had to pay $3.50 or $3.70. eBay literally blocked it. So here's the thing. eBay has got to stop doing this. They do this with media mail too. If you sell something, let's say a science fiction collectible, that's a media mail item, like a book, and you put it in the sci-fi section because it's a better section, eBay will let you as the seller select media mail, but then when you go to print out the label, they won't let you select it. So then you have to go to somewhere like Pirate Ship. So these are other problems that can happen as well. So be very careful if you're going to use it. Know all the ins and outs. Hopefully it has helped you out and giving you more information. If so, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you comment down below. Let me know what you think about the way that eBay presented this and if you thought it was misleading, because it certainly looks that way to me. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you back at the next one, everyone. Take care.